Two political figures were assassinated just months apart in 2025. Charlie Kirk, the conservative firebrand behind Turning Point USA, and Melissa Hortman, Democratic Speaker of the Minnesota House. Both tragedies rocked the nation, but the reactions could not have been more different. Part 1. The death of Charlie Kirk. When Charlie Kirk was gunned down in Utah, the right moved fast to sanctify him. Trump ordered flags at half-staff, called him legendary, and portrayed him as a martyr against the left. J.D. Vance even stepped in to host his podcast. Memorials sprung up overnight, but grief quickly turned political. Senators like Mike Lee blasted Marxists, Elon Musk said the left is the party of murder, and activists began compiling dossiers of anyone who mocked Kirk online, even though it's rightfully so. Conservatives demanded firings, and many got their wish. Part 2. Liberal reactions to Kirk. On the left, reactions were mixed. Leaders like Biden, Obama, and Clinton condemned the violence, but others went further and sparked backlash. MSNBC's Matthew Dodd suggested Kirk's decisiveness fueled the toxic climate. He was fired. A DC Comics writer joked, "Hope the bullet's okay." A Texas student yelled, "F your homie, he dead," and was expelled. And Rep. Ilhan Omar scoffed at people trying to portray Kirk as a civil debater. Some mocked, others condemned, but the perception took hold. Liberals were minimizing or even celebrating Kirk's death. Part 3. Melissa Hortman's assassination. 3 months earlier, Minnesota Democrat Melissa Hortman and her husband were murdered at home by what others are calling a right-wing extremist. The left responded with deep mourning. Vigils at the state capitol drew hundreds. Governor Tim Walz broke down in tears, calling her the most consequential speaker in state history. Biden and Harris flew in for her funeral. More than 7,500 people came as Melissa and Mark lay in state. The message was clear. Hortman was honored as a martyr for democracy. Part 4. Conservative reactions to Hortman. Conservatives condemned the attack, but the response was quieter. Minnesota Republicans offered condolences and Trump called it a terrible shooting. But unlike Kirk, no flags were lowered, no presidential address, and some even politicized it in the opposite way. Senator Mike Lee tweeted memes blaming Democrats, then deleted them when called out. The mourning simply did not match the passion shown for Kirk. Part 5. The double standard. So what does this show? Both sides condemn political violence when it strikes their own, but when it hits the other side, sympathy often disappears. Omar mourned Hortman but scoffed at Kirk. It can be said that conservatives lionized Kirk but only gave small condolences for Hortman. Trump lowered flags for one, but not the other, and the media coverage followed the same lines. Fox turned Kirk into a martyr. MSNBC turned Hortman into a democracy defender. This is the double standard when it comes to political mourning. We grieve for the ones that we support, and we're quiet when it comes down to the people that didn't vote on the same side. But let's break down some of the big things people come to comparing both of the deaths. When it comes to Charlie Kirk and Melissa Hortman, both of them were murdered and assassinated. We need to stop taking these and minimalizing them just because they're one side or the other. There's a lot of things that have flown around about the shooter for Melissa Hortman. A lot of people were saying he's far-right extremist. He's a MAGA supporter. Most of those claims are still unfounded, even as the recording of this video. The only thing that's come out is just friends saying he had Trump ideology, he was a Trump supporter, he had voted Republican in previous states that he lived in. Then there's the other side that he was also selected by 2 Democratic governors to still be a part of a Democratic-ran government. So there's people who are saying on both sides that it's not our guy, it's the other people. But regardless, this man is a murderer, and he is someone who is a political terrorist. When it comes down to Charlie Kirk's murderer, all of the things that are coming out as far as far-left ideology, furry stuff, he was raised in a MAGA Christian family. The liberals are going to try and put it out there saying, well, he was raised as a MAGA guy, so he has to be MAGA. But that's not true. And that's not the case. From the evidence that has come out, this man has been brainwashed by liberal ideology, just like any other right-wing extremist could be brainwashed by right-wing ideology. It's time we start addressing this ideology on both sides and ensuring that people understand that political violence is not the answer, and also sitting here and justifying it, saying political violence is part of our country's past, is not a way to justify anyone's murder either. Here's the truth. If America is going to survive this moment or any other moments that may be coming up, we have to start condemning political violence. There's a ton of people on the left that are politicians, high up talking points that are calling for conservatives to be killed.
Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick them.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
No matter who it targets, we have to start condemning violence, because the way we respond reveals less about the victims and more about us. The things we saw this past week of Charlie Kirk's death and all the liberals celebrating it. Charlie Kirk once said, "You can tell a lot about a person by how they react when someone dies." Now, I know there weren't countrywide vigils going on for Melissa Hortman. That statement is one of the things that the liberals will throw in conservatives' faces all the times. Well, why weren't there vigils for her? Look, why would you expect a bunch of conservatives to get together for a liberal who was murdered? Why weren't you guys doing it? I have family that I no longer really care for that were using that point and saying that, well, there weren't any vigils for her. Well, why weren't you throwing a vigil for her? I think liberals often will throw a lot onto conservatives these days and basically say, well, you didn't do this. Well, here's the truth. You weren't doing it. And to be honest, the way that I saw most of the reactions, when it came to Charlie Kirk's death, he was being mocked, ridiculed, his family targeted, family disgustingly talked about. When Melissa Hortman died, there was not a wide outspread of people mocking her death. Anyways, let me get back to the point. The point is, Charlie Kirk's death enamored significantly more people because of how much more widespread he was. He impacted more lives. He was on social media more. He was on interviews more. He was out there more. So more people understood him, agreed with him, debated with him. Even people who didn't disagree with him and have sympathy are coming out in support of Charlie Kirk's family. Melissa Hortman was murdered, whether it's a left wing, right wing, again, that's still unfounded. But even if it is right wing, let's go ahead and give that fact to y'all. Let's say he was right wing. Melissa Hortman's death is not minimalized because Charlie Kirk was celebrated more. Nobody even knew who Melissa Hortman was outside of Minnesota. All you liberals who are complaining about it, you didn't know who she was until she was murdered. So please stop trying to compare both of them as one's better than the other. Charlie Kirk had a huge impact in the conservative movement. He helped Trump get elected. Do flags need to be half-staff for every single person who gets killed that's friends with Trump? No. But the flags were lowered to half-staff because how much of an impact this man made in millions of people's lives across not just the United States, but across the world. So it's time we stop comparing both of these things. Both of them were horrible, but we're not doing a whose death mattered most contest. What we need to be doing is identifying and addressing the issues that the left keeps portraying out there, as well as the inflammatory stuff on the right, and start getting back together as a country. But my friends, I don't know. I don't know if it's too late. I don't know if there's no turning back, and that's the hard part. I know there's people on the left who are ready to go. There's people on the right who are ready to go. So let's see where this takes us. Thanks for watching Spin Detective, where we uncover the spin and expose the truth. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what your feedback is. Do you think it's too late? Do you think we've gone too far? Do you think there's any coming back from it? Thank you for watching.